Check one, two. Check one, two. All right, I think our audio is good. Hey, Nuggets, it has been a while. It's been, I think, about a week now, more than a week. Hey, Bison, welcome. How's it going? How's it going? So, as mentioned, did go on vacation for, it was roughly 4 or 5 days, 4 nights, 5 days, kind of, sort of. I don't know how you count them, but I was gone from June 11 and came back June 15. Went to Toronto, Canada. I Not the first time I've been to Canada. I think the first time I went to Canada was a very long time ago. I don't remember much of it. All I know is I went through Niagara Falls. It was a day thing, that really get to do anything. I didn't even get to like go under the falls or do anything there except get like my head pooped on by a seagull. Apparently, a seagull in the middle of a lake pooped on my head. The first time I went to Canada, and that was my first experience with Canada. This time, that didn't happen, though. There was one seagull that was flying a little bit too close to, like, above me, so I had to get ready just in case they try to do that again. Luckily, that didn't happen this time. But anyway, so yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. And where do I even start with this vacation? Where do I even start? I do have some snacks here I want to go through as I talk about the stuff I did and my impressions about certain things. And yeah, I don't have any train of thought on what to do about this. But let's just start from the beginning of why I took this vacation to begin with. Long story short, my mom had her birthday during the trip, and she wanted to go somewhere. So she really wants to go to like Korea, right? Because she's a huge Korean drama fan. And that can't exactly go to Korea with a no, not I take that back. It's not like you can't go to Korea right now. I think you can actually go to South Korea right now for tourism and such. The issue is I was given one week, not 1 week, 1 month's notice to get tickets and do everything to like just do the trip. And 1 month's notice for an international trip, while doable, it is very expensive. Super expensive. Like, I think the prices to South Korea are like 2 or 3 times much more a month out, and that's kind of ridiculous. Even going to Hawaii was kind of expensive. So choices were go somewhere locally, which to me that's not much of a vacation if you just go somewhere nearby. Some people like doing staycations, and that's perfectly fine. Not normally though, if I go on a vacation, I like to actually do the vacate part of the vacation, as in vacate the country. So Canada was someplace I've been wanting to try to hit up and check out. I do have friends in Canada, but I could not visit any of them because, gotta be with family and stuff like that. And it would kind of be awkward. So friends in Canada will have to wait another time. I'm sorry about that if I didn't tell you guys about it. For those who are from Canada. Another time, perhaps. But this time, it was a short 4 or 5 day trip into Toronto. I did try to go to Vancouver because I hear Banff National Park had a really nice view. Also, really nice for hiking, and I do like to hike quite a bit, especially when the view is nice. Like in Japan, there's a lot of hiking spots in Japan that look pretty darn nice, and would do it all over Japan if I could. Canada, I hear Banff is like the one to go to. but from Toronto, it's a little bit far. And why Toronto? It's because it was the one we could go to that was kind of cheap-ish. Like, Montreal, I think Montreal came up, but that was like a thought for a day trip, and from Toronto, I think that's like 4 or 6 hours drive, and that's a little bit too far. I think Montreal is a little bit too far. Also, I can't speak French. I can't speak French. If I try to speak French, I'm gonna butcher it. And I think the Montreal people don't take too kindly to that. At least that's my impression. That's just my impression. But Toronto, for the short time I was there, pretty decent. I wish I had a little bit more time though, because holy crap, I didn't quite get to explore as much as I want to. So I'm not sure how people are when they go on trips. Like, are you the type of person to go from point A to point B, like zoom? Like you just see the sides of point A and then zoom over to the next point? I know some people do that, and especially since you have like phones and cameras and stuff like that, and you can upload to social media or back up your stuff into the cloud and do this stuff. It's like, yeah, you can do that, but the way I like to travel and the way my family tends to like to travel anyway is to take it kind of slow. Like, I was told downtown Toronto, you could probably do that in like 1 day. And if you were zoom in, yeah, I'm pretty sure you could. But that does not take into account wait times, travel time, also the friggin' heat, lunch, and how long people are willing to stay out in a day. Usually when I travel, unless I have plans at night, I tend to be out between, let's say, 9 o'clock in the morning, and I try to be back by 6 or 7 at night, because that's a pretty long day. That's a pretty long day, everyone. I don't know how you feel about that. But nightlife, me? No. Unless I'm meeting someone for like excuse me, I had to get a cough out. I hope I didn't bring something back from Canada that I was not expecting. But we'll find out in a few days now, won't we? Oh, but jeez. But yeah, so regarding travel in general, yeah, it's like I like to take my time. I like to take in the sights, and for some people, excuse me. For some people, they just like to see the one thing in one place. Like let's take Niagara Falls for instance, right? They just want to see the falls. They just want to like take pictures of the falls. Maybe go at like do the boat tour and stuff. That still takes time. And then when you get back out, some people just want to like leave right away, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of not what I do. I like to look at every single little detail and stuff like that. Admire the scenery, admire the location, and see what the place has to offer other than the falls, because that's really what makes the place other than the attractions, you know? So yeah, that's kind of what we did. We took our time. So my main thing when traveling is hit at least one place each day that you want to visit. Spend as much time there as possible, and if you have time after that, then try to hit somewhere else that you can do reasonably with the rest of your day. That's basically how I like to do things. But yeah, I got some snacks. We'll be doing a little bit of snack tasting. I'll be honest though, when you think of Canada, you don't really think of too much regarding the snack portion. And you think mainly maple syrup, right? And I would tell you, you are absolutely correct. It is mostly maple syrup stuff. So I'm gonna be dehydrated from all this sugar. And but I do have a few things that's not maple syrup, so we'll give that a try too. But Let's see. Um, I think let's go ahead and start with the first snack, and then we'll talk our way through the vacation stuff. All right. Okay, where is cooking? All right, so we're gonna move over here. I have my little teapot here because the first thing we're gonna try out is this thing called it's a Ceylon tea, premium Ceylon tea with, I think this is the ice wine one. No, it is not. Oh wait, it is. Unless, oh, is this the ice wine tea? Wait, it says it's an ice wine tea. So ice wine, for people who have not heard of it before, and I have not heard of this particular wine until the trip. Ice wine, let me get my facts straight here, but ice wine apparently is a wine that gets fermented in very, very cold temperatures. And apparently that makes it very sweet, I think. Let me see. What are the requirements for ice wine? Ice wine, what, oh my gosh, what are these requirements? I cannot tell what these are, but from what I remember in the tour, it's like fermented at like -10 to -15 degrees Celsius or something like that, and it takes up quite a few grapes just to make the same bottle, and it's like $700 for each bottle of ice wine. So it's kind of crazy if you think about it. And I don't know. I did try an ice wine tea before I left, but it was a bag tea, and I think this one might not be a bag tea, so we're gonna have to ferment this. Not ferment, but what do you call this? We're gonna have to brew this. But let's go ahead. Actually, no, there is facts here. You can see the facts here. Where is it? Right there. But I'm gonna read it for myself so you guys know what that says, because I know the print is very small. To make ice wine, the grapes are left on the vine until after the first frost hits. The first frost hits. They must be picked late in the year after November 15, early in the day, before 10 a.m., and temperatures must not be higher than -8 degrees Celsius. 8 degrees Celsius, for anyone who does not do metric, I think that's roughly 16 plus 30, no, 16 plus 32. I want to say that's roughly 16 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe 16 to 14 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm not quite sure, but I know it's below freezing. So these are freezing cold grapes. At this temperature, the grapes are frozen and as hard as marbles. While the grape is still in its frozen state, they are pressed. This leaves a highly concentrated juice, very high in acid, sugar, and aromatics. This tea celebrates the flavor of ice wine and is a lovely complement to any meal. So that's what we have here. And because we are going to be eating a lot of sweet stuff, we're going to brew this first, make sure that we have something to douse the sugar with. Otherwise, I am going to be very, very dehydrated very quickly. So let's go and open this. But yeah, and overall though, I liked my Canadian vacation. I kind of wish I had more time to spend in places. I did a whole lot of tours this time around than I would normally do otherwise, just because I didn't really plan the whole thing properly. But then again, sometimes you do need to do the tour thing to get a good idea on what to do, or at least where to hit up next. So, okay, so this is sealed. This is sealed. There's a seal over here. And there's a seal over here. Ceylon tea, symbol of quality, net 15 grams. And for tea, that's probably quite a bit. Okay. Is this a bag? Is this a bag or is this loose leaf? I'm thinking it's loose leaf. Oh, we got a fancy bag here in a box. All right, then. Wow, that is tiny, but I specifically got a small one because I have a lot of tea and I don't know when I'm gonna get through this, but this is gonna be a very special tea. A very, very special tea. Okay, where are my scissors? Well, I'm gonna have to use scissors for this one, unless, ooh, I guess I can't open it by tearing it a little bit. Alrighty then. Let's do this. I'm gonna have to cut it open. Wow. Alright. Hope that's enough. I hope that's enough. Let's see. Ceylon tea, loose leaf, in a very tight packaging. Can't really see what's going on here, but I have the... Oh, did I not open that up all the way? Okay, that's a little bit better then. That's a little bit better. Oh, wow. I can smell these tea leaves. They have a very sweet grape aroma coming from these tea leaves, and my gosh, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to taste that because usually that kind of stuff is lost in the brewing process. But let's see. Let's go 1, 2, and normally I would like to tap this to remove any dust from the tea, but this time I'm going to opt not to. We're just going to do 2 little teaspoon thingies, and hopefully that'll be enough. I have some preheated water at 160 Celsius. Might be a little bit too low for this kind of tea. I'm not exactly sure what temperature Ceylon tea is. Not 160 Celsius. 160 degrees Fahrenheit water. So that's a temperature for green tea. I don't think Ceylon tea is a green tea. That looks more like a black tea. The aroma though is pretty nice. It's not very strong. It's got a mild aroma, but it's very noticeable. So we're just gonna brew this, I don't know, maybe like a couple of minutes, I think. Maybe not too much water. I feel like I don't know how to brew this tea, to be honest. So we're just gonna wing this and go from there. But yeah, let me see. Where am I? So I got some pictures I want to share as we go through. Let's see. But yeah, Canada in general was pretty nice. The place I stayed at was also fairly fancy. I won't say, I mean, I'm not going to say the name of this place. If you know what this setup is, then you know what this setup is. But it was a pretty fancy hotel with a decent setup. Very nice. It's kind of like a small living room. The only thing this was missing was a mini kitchen, and it didn't really have a mini kitchen. Usually when you get a room this fancy, there's like a mini kitchen kind of thing at the corner of the room somewhere, but we didn't really have that. This bathroom though is kind of neat. It's huge. It's kind of huge. Also, the one thing that kind of surprised me the one thing that surprised me in Canada is the money. Like, I'm not sure if you can really tell with a picture here, but Canadian money it feels like plastic, basically. It's basically plastic money. Nothing like I've felt before, though I think I hear Singapore has a similar setup. I feel Singapore has a similar setup, and you can kind of see it here, though it's a little bit difficult to show. But the money here has a transparent middle and a non-trans and a trans not quite so transparent other parts of the cash. And yeah, as you can imagine, this being plastic, it folds really, really easily and makes creases like no other. Not exactly the best thing to carry around, but a lot of people seem to be using credit cards for the most part, unless, you know, there were a few places that said no credit cards, debit cards only, cash only. So those places do exist. So having a little bit of cash in Canada is not a bad idea. Though I think from the little bit I've seen, the what do you call this? The tip that I would have for Japan as far as cash is concerned would still hold for Canada. Let me check the tea really quick. I think it's done. I think the tea is done. Let's take a look at that. Okay. I don't really smell it anymore, which is kind of what I expected. I think this is a black tea, but let's pour one out. Kind of a black tea, maybe kind of sort of. If I have this out for too long, it's probably going to be a little bit too strong, but you can kind of tell. So I don't know how much water I put in here. It's probably like close to 1 cup, and I had 2 of these. It's not quite a teaspoon, but I think I did maybe roughly half a gram or less of that tea. So it's like, aroma, I can kind of sort of smell the grape. Slightly smell a grape flavor. That's not too bad. I think this is a little bit better than the what do you call this? The tea bag that I had before I left. Or maybe it was just brewed a little bit too strong because because I don't know. I'm kind of particular on how I brew my tea. I like to brew at a lower temperature typically, even for black tea. For black tea, I mean, typically for black tea, you brew that boiling. But most other teas, a lower temperature would bring out the flavor. And in this case, I can taste the ice wine grape flavor a little bit better than I did before with the tea bags. The tea bags definitely had a stronger black tea flavor. This one not quite as strong, but then again, I am not brewing it as heavily, so maybe that has something to do with it. Though if this continues with the tea being steeped in the water, I might have a problem. So I'm gonna have to pour it a little bit out for now. And we're gonna have some tea here. It's probably gonna go cold, but it's okay. That's okay. That will be okay. But yeah, it's a pretty nice tea. It's not sweet like you would think a wine tea is. It's definitely not alcoholic. So anyone trying to get a buzz off tea, that's not what the case here is. But it does have a cool aftertaste. I don't know how else to. I don't know how else to describe that. It's not like mint. It's not like mint where it's like mentholy or anything like that. It's just cool. Cool. Think of drinking like a hot beverage, and then as soon as it hits your tongue, there is a slightly icy aftertaste. I don't know if that's actually a flavor or that if that's a temperature. I think it's more of a flavor, but I don't know how they managed to pull that off. Like, it's not noticeable. I mean, it's not like super noticeable unless you take your time to savor it. But if you brew this for too long, you'll definitely get the bitter portions of the tea more than you would the cooler parts of the tea, the ice wine parts of the tea. So yeah, I think this would be a good pair for our snacks for today. But yeah, so basically what I did in this vacation, first day of the vacation, all travel day. So I may have mentioned this before in previous travel talks, but your first day of travel, most of the time anywhere, is just purely travel, and you're probably going to be wiped out at the end of the day. Basically, what I did was airport, super early, didn't get any sleep, so I tried to get sleep where I could. Airplane, and I think for the most part it worked. And yeah, it's I mean, it's not like I was missing out on anything. I didn't even bring my Switch to keep me company just because I didn't need it. I did not need it. The Switch would have just been extra baggage that wasn't needed. And for a basically 4 to 5 hour trip from where I am all the way up to Toronto, it was a pretty decent rest. But I definitely zonked out as soon as I got to the hotel because holy crap, sleep deprivation from the night before. Because imagine having a 6 a.m. flight and you have to be there at the airport 2 hours before. And even though you do get to the airport 2 hours before, you spend 30 minutes trying to find a parking space because you didn't think you needed to find a parking space for your friggin' food truck. And not enough foresight to call an Uber instead. So yeah, that happened. That happened. And I got stuck with a bill for parking that would have been twice as much as an Uber upon return. But okay. Lesson learned, because economy parking was not open. Should have done the park and fly instead. Oh well. Always, if your trip is 5 days or shorter, well, if your trip is at least 5 days, you may as well just do the Uber instead, regardless. Maybe, depending on where you live, to be honest. But yeah, first night was fairly uneventful. Got to the hotel, very nice hotel, and immediately went out to eat. Now, the thing about Canada is a very multicultural place. Canada's a very multicultural place. And, being multicultural, you kind of don't see like typical Canadian foods anywhere. Like the two things I wanted to eat in Canada, I never got to eat. One thing was Tim Hortons. The quintessential Canadian not restaurant, but Canadian donut chain. I think it's mainly a donut place like Dunkin' and Krispy Kreme and stuff like that. I never got to try. Now, I was able to go into a Tim Hortons throughout the trip, but never actually went through the line because it was lunch and family did not think that donuts were a good thing to eat for lunch. And we're not quite keen on sandwiches for lunch. So we had to do something else. And Tim Hortons was practically everywhere. Tim Hortons was everywhere, and I never even got a chance to get a single thing from there. No donuts from Tim Hortons. I want to see what Tim Hortons is all about. I know a lot of people have been like raving about Tim Hortons, and I've never even got a chance. All the gas stations that I went through, or at least the majority of gas stations that I saw, had a Tim Hortons. Downtown Toronto, Tim Hortons on one block, 3 or 4 blocks later, another Tim Hortons. Holy crap. Why could I not go there when I was actually ready to have some Tim Hortons? Why? It's because I already had breakfast from the hotel and it was pretty decently filling, or it was late at night and we just ate something. So Tim Hortons would be like an afterthought after all of that. And then probably the worst offender of them all, Toronto. Toronto Airport was the worst offender of them all. Not only is it a crappy airport, sorry, not sorry, Toronto. Your airport is absolutely crappy. At least the Gate A portion that goes to the American side is totally crappy. Like, you put your Tim Hortons in arrivals. That's perfectly okay. Why is there not one past security in the other gates? I don't know what gates B and C are, but there was no donut place, no Tim Hortons in the A gate. Instead, in the A gate, you have one tiny little crappy duty-free area. Tiny little crappy duty-free, okay? And very, very expensive restaurant food from no recognizable brands in a 20 terminal gate, a 20 gate terminal. And imagine a burger that costs $20 but it tastes like a $5 burger. I had much better barbecue sandwiches in another airport. I had much better barbecue sandwiches in another airport for $10. All right, $10 for a barbecue sandwich that was filled to the brim with brisket and sauce, and that was absolutely much better than the $20 Canadian burger in that gate. And there was hardly any place to visit in that gate. Like any other airport that I've been to before. There's like shops everywhere, past security, and holy crap, there's lots of places to explore. But Toronto, Gate A, Terminal 3, absolute crap. Absolute crap. And I will say that as many times as I have to. It is terrible. Very terrible. Now, the condition of the gate, the terminal itself, is not terrible, but just exploring the place, not worth it. Absolutely not worth it. So it's like, why even bother? That aside, I was hoping there was a Tim Hortons past security. That never happened. That never happened. And the one Tim Hortons that was close to the hotel we were staying at was not even built yet. Like the gas station was being built, and then there's a huge Tim Hortons building being built right next to the gas station. It was not open. It was not accessible. So it's like, what's even the point? What's even the point? There was no way to get a Tim Hortons anywhere. And it's like, okay, I guess I'll just have to do a Tim Hortons another time when I visit Canada again. I do plan on visiting Canada again eventually. Maybe for at least a week this time. Though it won't be Toronto. It's probably going to be like Montreal or Vancouver because, hey, they seem like nice places. But temperature-wise, at least, the temperature in Toronto wasn't bad. it was a whole maybe 10 to 15 degrees Celsius cooler than where I'm at right now, which is about a 30-degree Fahrenheit difference, which is huge if you think about it. Though it still did get a little warm when I was wearing my jacket and stuff. So, oh well. What are you gonna do? I thought it was gonna be like on the cooler side, like less than 70 degrees Fahrenheit. While in Toronto, so I brought it anyway. But it wasn't that cold, though. It did get a little chilly at night, so it wasn't too bad. Supposedly it was going to rain during the trip there, but it never did. Lucky for me. I thought it was going to be rain like the second day we were going to be there, because supposedly that was on the forecast, and it never did. Maybe they heard a travel. Oh, just a minute. So, I mean, like, they probably heard a travel vlogger, VTuber person was going to be there. So they never, it just never happened. You know, it just never happened. But hey, it was fun. It was fun, though. It was fun. The other thing I didn't get to try was, what do you call this? Poutine. Now, supposedly there's a particular place called Smoke's Poutineery that was recommended to check out while in Toronto. Never had the chance because I never saw one, or at least I mean, from what I understand, poutine is just fries, gravy, and cheese curds. What more? I mean, you don't really make a shop just for poutine, right? At least it doesn't seem like you would make a shop just for poutine, but there's at least one shop that does only poutine, from what I can tell, or at least specializes in poutine anyways. That's Smokes. But I didn't see a single Smokes Poutineery, so didn't get a chance of that. The one place that would have had poutine, or at least I saw advertised poutine on the menu, was this hipster cafe in Kensington Market in downtown Toronto, and would have done that if didn't have dim sum like 15 minutes before then. So kind of stuffed at that point, so couldn't exactly try the poutine from that place. And we were just kind of adjusting at that time anyway, walking around digesting, and the last thing we needed was more food. So okay, well, poutine and Tim Hortons, we're gonna have to try another time. But did get a decent amount of other food though. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, why did I put this picture here? I guess I put this picture here because it kind of reminded me of the of the trash bin situation in Japan. Though in Japan, I think the recycling portion is divided up a little bit better. Like there's actually a portion for plastic, there's another portion for paper, and I think there's another one for just general trash. But in Toronto, it's I mean, it's not hard to find a trash can compared to in Japan, where it's extremely hard to find a trash can anywhere in Japan for whatever reason. No, I know what the reason was. It has some sort of something to do with 1991, with some local incidents. So you can look that up yourself if you want to. But anyway, it's so this was a bin situation. It was I think I just put that there for my own personal reference. Though I am kind of surprised there is a slot for cigarettes. I just noticed that. Hmm. Okay. Well then. But yeah, first night. First night, feeling a little Korean. Like I said, Canada is a multicultural place, and being multicultural, you have lots of options. Apparently, Italian and Indian are another two huge, what do you call this? Another two huge demographic in Canada. I don't know about French food in general, but I think French would be more like an upper class restaurant kind of thing. But my family kind of likes Asian food, so we went to mostly Asian places. In this case, we went to a Korean Korean barbecue place that also had fried chicken, and it was pretty good. I did kind of like this water pitcher that they had, and if this water pitcher looks small, it kind of is pretty small. Like I think this is about as big as maybe 1 liter at most, and they serve them in these tiny metal uh, metal glasses. It kind of it kind of feels funny to say metal glass, but it's I think it's barely even half a cup, but it's kind of cute. It's kind of small. And we got some pork barbecue. It's not like all you can eat place, sadly, but their barbecue menu was kind of fairly limited. It's like they had the pork barbecue, they had beef barbecue, and that was it. That was basically it. Their other specialty was fried chicken. Oh, this was a dipping sauce. This was a onion and soy sauce dipping sauce, but it had a sweet hint to it. That's like you use this dipping sauce for the pork for the barbecue, the grilled barbecue, and it actually worked really well. You got the side dishes, so this is a quite a few side dishes. Like not as much side dishes as I am quite used to seeing. Usually there will be like maybe a couple more plates that we did. You also get the rice. I think it's fried rice, kind of like a sticky fried rice. But this is kind of what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get the barbecue, the pork barbecue, dip it or soak it into this sauce, and then you either wrap it in this lettuce. At least I've never seen this before, but you wrap it in the lettuce, put all the other toppings on top, and then wrap the lettuce around the barbecue, and then just kind of eat it whole like that, like a burrito. Except you don't eat burritos whole because holy crap, you're gonna choke on that. But yeah, this was interesting. The lettuce was refreshing in contrast to the barbecue, and that was pretty good. The fried chicken. I gotta make a special note about this restaurant for their fried chicken. Your fried chicken is pretty good. I gotta say it's pretty good. Not as it's decently crispy, not as crispy as one place I like to go to. I'm not going to mention their name, but compared to the place I usually get my Korean fried chicken, it's not quite as crispy as that, but it is still fairly crispy. This is like the place I get my Korean fried chicken is thick and very crispy. Now this one in particular is like thin and crispy. So you get through the skin portion really quickly, and you're met with juicy chicken, which is actually which is a nice part. I do think this fried chicken had some other flavoring on it. I'm not sure what it was. I thought it was ginger. I even considered that maybe there might be some garlic in the batter. Um, though it didn't taste like garlic. It tasted more like ginger. And upon consideration, there might be some cheese powder mixed into the batter. I'm not entirely sure. It was pretty decent though. It was pretty good. Pretty good, all things considered. Let's keep it on here for now. And let's go ahead and try our first snack because I really don't know where to go here. Oh, wait. The picture is not advancing. Why? Oh. Oh. The picture did not advance. Oh my gosh. And here I am just talking nonsense, apparently. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. We gotta back up. We gotta back up. Okay. There we go. Right. The trash situation. Let's go. This is why I was talking about the trash situation. Korean fried chicken. Little bottles. Why is it sideways over here? Anyway, let's go ahead and try our snack really quick before we continue, and I have to re-explain everything because I didn't realize that. Okay, so Canada, land of maple syrup. A lot of people maybe rightly or wrongly associate maple syrup with Canada. I know it's also a huge thing up in the Northeast in certain places. Maple popcorn, maïs soufflé. Except I can't say it in French because I don't know which consonants and vowels to omit. But maïs soufflé à blé, I have no clue. Pardon my French, I am terrible at this. Product of Canada. Produit du Canada. Contains pure maple syrup. Does it now? Apparently the ingredients of this is sugar, popcorn, glucose, maple syrup, margarine, canola oil, soya lecithin, maple flavors, and then salt. They had to put maple flavors on top of the maple syrup. But sugar is still the primary flavoring, apparently. $8.99 for this bag of popcorn. It kind of looks like caramel popcorn. It might taste like caramel popcorn. We'll see. I'm kind of curious how this is going to taste. If I can open the darn thing. Oh, okay. That wasn't too hard to open. Yeah, it kind of looks like caramel popcorn, though it supposedly has maple syrup in there. So let's give this a shot. Tastes like caramel popcorn. However, there is a very distinct maple syrup flavor. It's not too strong. It's not too strong, but it is present. So no complaints about that. I just got to be careful with this because, you know, like sugar in general really dries out my throat. And when I'm streaming, that's not a good thing. Like if you want to do a dehydrate redeem, this is how you do it. You down a huge thing of something sugary. And that's how you do a dehydrate redeem. And that's not good for your long-term health, let's just say. But I'm gonna try to fit as many of these snacks on the screen as possible. Okay, well. You know what? I have so many sugary snacks. I got like 1, 2, 3 more sugary snacks on my list here. And then I have 1 salty snack. I'm not sure I'm going to survive this, to be honest. I'm not sure I'm going to survive this. But yeah, let's go back to the Korean restaurant really quick. Yeah, I think it's roughly 1 liter, this tiny plastic container. It was cute. So was the glass. So was the metal glass. Ah, right. Can I show this? Let me see. Can I show this? I hope the volume's not too loud. Not that I can hear it. Can I hear it? Yeah. So they had like a grill. So they had like a grill thing in this Korean restaurant. I mean, not all Korean restaurants have it. I was about to say a proper Korean restaurant would have one. But I guess it depends on what you're trying to do, right? But in this place, the grill. And I don't normally see them do this, but they filled the bottom with water first before and turned on the grill. I guess there's a little bit of steam portion that happens when you're cooking this. Normally in most Korean barbecue places, whenever I go, the grill gets so crusty even during the first portions that it's really hard to cook anything. In this place though, you can kind of see how thick the bacon slices are here. So it didn't cook too quickly, but it didn't really make a mess of the grill too much. Hey Mars, welcome. How's it going? I'm just talking about my Canadian vacation and trying to go through some snacks here. as well as explain some things as we went along. I kind of went a whole rant about Tim Hortons, and I never got to try a Tim Hortons, despite all the Canadians apparently raving about it. And apparently, the Tim Hortons is like in every single corner, and even in the airport. And why am I talking like this? Because I need to I need to clear my throat. I need to clear my throat. But yeah, we're also doing that as well as checking out some snacks. So we already have brewed some. That's upside down. Ceylon tea with ice wine tea. So I'm not sure what Ceylon tea is. I feel like that it can. Someone fact check me. Is it black tea? Is it green tea? I brewed it like I do a green tea because I wanted to taste the ice wine portion of this, and the aroma of the tea leaves is grapey. It is sweet grapes is what I smelled from this. And when you drink the tea, this is kind of what it looks like. This is at 160 degrees Fahrenheit, so about 60 to 70 degrees brewing. Maybe about 2 minutes. Light on the bitterness, because I don't want too much bitter flavor, and I kind of wanted to taste the ice wine portion. It's the ice wine portion. You don't really taste grape. It's more like a cool aftertaste, if that makes any sense. That's the best way I can describe it. It's not minty. It's not like it's mint a mint aftertaste, but it's kind of like sip. A little hit of bitterness from the tea, and then on the aftertaste, a little bit of grape, but without any sweetness. So it is a little cool. I'm not sure if that makes any sense. That's the best way I can describe it. And then we have some Canadian maple popcorn, which apparently also has sugar. But you can taste the maple syrup, kind of, sort of, in this. At least it has a little bit more depth of flavor than your typical caramel corn. So I guess there is that. There is that. Oh my gosh. I probably should... Well, we could probably try to do this next, but I have many fears with this particular snacks, because we have mainly a lot of sweet stuff today. Because Canada and maple syrup, right? Canada and maple syrup. But let's go ahead and open this next one. And I think this is fairly straightforward. Canada bonbons à sirop d'arbre. I'm guessing that's maple syrup candy. Canada True Delicieux bonbons de l'arbre. I don't know my French. Oh, here's the English side. Never mind. I'm sorry about that. Frenchies. Maple syrup candies. That's going to be bad for me. That's going to be bad in my throat. But we're going to go and try. I'm not expecting much for this, to be honest. I'm just expecting a huge hit of sugar. Very sweet. Definitely might get diabetes before the end of the week if I eat all of this. But look at this box, okay? Look at this box. There's so many of them. There's so many in this box, and this is just one. One little tiny maple candy. If I put this in the tea, it'll start tasting like maple syrup, probably. Can we get some details? Oh, actually, we can get some details. Hold up, can I? I want to show you the details on this maple candy, if possible. Oh, there it is. Maple candy. Very glassy. Kind of. Sort of. Maybe. Who knows? It's going to be sweet. I just know it's going to be sweet. It's a hard candy, so it's going to be sitting in my mouth for a while, unless I bite into it. It looks like a hard candy. It is nowhere soft, as expected. But it does look like a gem, so that's pretty nice. It's a pretty nice maple gem. Maybe if you lacquer this, you can probably pass it off as a maple gem if you don't eat it. All right, let's try it. Yep. Yep. That's like eating a solid piece of maple syrup. Why would I want to do this? I need some tea. It's not super sweet. It's not super sweet. But I do fear for my blood sugar after that. Because if you look at the ingredients here, let me try to fix that. Pure maple syrup, glucose, and sugar. As if the maple syrup was not enough, you had to add sugar on top of this to adjust the flavor of that sweetness. Why? Is maple syrup not sweet enough that you had to add sugar? I don't actually know. I don't actually know. But that's all it is. That's all it is. Heated maple syrup, I guess. They made into a candy and then made into this thing. That's going to be sitting in my mouth for a while. So my voice is going to slowly go into the ether. And yeah, I'm just going to have to live with it for a little bit. We got a few more snacks, but I'm going to keep talking about the trip and whatnot. So Korean barbecue place, we had the pork, we have the sweet. Why did it do that? Why did it do that? I think I'm gonna have to reset this thing. Oh, it goes. Oh, it resets. Can you not do that? Aspect ratio, loop, hide slideshow when done. I guess I shouldn't be hiding it. Okay, I guess we'll start. I have to adjust where I am on my part of the viewing thing. Pork barbecue. Right. Why? Why? Why do you loop like this? Huh? Why do you loop like this? Wait, why does the loop end there? Huh? Why does a loop end there? It's not like you hit something particular, did you? What? Nothing? Refresh. Canada? Why? What? Okay, well, this is not exactly what I expected. I'm gonna have to probably add these pictures manually. Manual add pictures. Okay, maybe this will be better. Can I go further than... No. Why does it loop? Huh. I want to show you guys the rest of the pictures, but for some reason it wants to loop. Maybe if I turn off loop, will that work? Interesting. Hold up. I'm sorry about these guys. I'm not sure what's going on with my display, my picture display here. I'm not sure why it likes to do this. but maybe we can fix it. Where is it? Where are you? Oh, it's this thing. Oh, shrink. Shrink, please. Shrink, 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 shrink. You're too big. You're too big. You're too big. You're gonna break it. Okay. And now I can no longer do the advanced thing. No, I don't want to. I want to do manual. I want to do manual. Now I can't advance it on myself. Is this something I can fix midstream? Let's see. Oh no! OBS, why you freeze? OBS, don't freeze, please. Don't freeze. That would be bad. That would be bad if you froze. Please don't freeze. Right, right, right. Okay. We don't need the fade. Just a cut is okay. It's not letting me go past the barbecue for whatever reason. Huh. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to add stuff manually from here. If that's the case, we go from here then. Let me see if there's an issue with other stuff. That's probably why. Okay, dipping sauce. Let's see if it loops from here. So this was the dipping sauce we used for the barbecue. It's like soy sauce, onions, but it's like a sweet soy sauce for some reason. I'm not sure if it was sweet because of the onions or if it was sweet because of something else, but that was kind of neat. And then you had these condiments on the side. Not condiments, but side dishes, which you can eat by yourselves. But I think for this particular style of barbecue, I also had the rice too. But for this particular style of barbecue, what you do is get the barbecue, put it on a piece of lettuce, and then top it with the kimchi, the bean sprouts, the japchae, and wrap all that and then eat that whole. I think that's how you're supposed to do it. At least that's what I was told. But the fried chicken, I mentioned the fried chicken earlier, but we didn't have a visual. Very nice, thin and crispy. I've had crispier, I've had thicker, crispy fried chicken that had like a huge crunch. This didn't have a particularly huge crunch. It was like a thin, crispy. It had a nice crunch, but it's more like a crunch than a crunch. If you get what I'm saying. Like I said, I think the batter had some ginger flavor to it. It could not have been garlic. Most likely ginger. And let's see what else. Possibly cheese powder. Possibly a cheese powder because it had a particular flavor. But this was their like original recipe batter. I didn't ask what was in it because I like trying to figure out what's in it for myself first. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good. At least the chicken was very juicy, so they get points for that. The crispiness on the outside, though, I think it's just their particular style. But me personally, I would have wanted it much crunchier. But it was pretty good otherwise. Rice, yeah. So this is what you were supposed to do with the barbecue, and you could do this before you layered it onto the lettuce, I guess. Like soak the barbecue in the sauce both sides so that way you get it all over the place. I did have some sauce left over and I put it on top of the rice and ate it that way because holy crap, this sauce was actually pretty good. I liked it. This was basically what breakfast was at the hotel, and the menu kind of sort of changed, but then again, this is what you get with a chain hotel anyway. So it's like the French toast, sausage, bacon, potato, ketchup, egg. I think the staple for each day was some kind of egg dish, some kind of potato dish, either these types of potatoes or a hash brown, some sort of bread type of thing. So we got the French toast. Other times they had like a really, really thin pancake, which was hardly anything, but hey, can't complain too much. At least the breakfast was free, so and so free. And then some sort of sausage, like a sausage patty. They had like a grilled bacon. No, a grilled ham, not bacon, but I don't know. Being in Canada, Canadian bacon is ham anyway, but they didn't call it Canadian bacon. They just called it ham. So, okay, it's ham. Though I think it's cooked a little bit different than used to. Other times they had like a sausage link, and that was pretty okay. None of it was spectacular. I'll be perfectly honest. None of it was spectacular. It needed a little bit more seasoning for me and a whole lot of ketchup. Otherwise, it was barely passable. Oh, this was a pretty neat place. I wish I can show you the videos, but I have to sort through my videos first before I can show you this area. But this is like a tunnel in this place called Casa Loma. Casa Loma is a castle in Toronto. Now, whenever you think castles, you kind of think Europe, right? You think European castles, big and majestic and whatnot. And I thought I had a picture of Casa Loma here. I do. It's just all the way at the end for some reason. Let me get a picture of that on screen so we have a reference for what this is supposed to be. Not that way. We put it here. So Casa Loma is apparently so huge it covers the screen and then some. So we gotta adjust that, put it over here. Why is it all the way on this side? But this is Casa Loma, apparently a mansion in the form of a castle in Vancouver, in a in a place that's I guess a lot of rich people live. But yeah, this particular castle though is pretty huge actually. It took me roughly 3 or 4 hours to go through all the places that I could possibly access. There was like a bunch of bedrooms, a tunnel, which we showed over here. There's like a tunnel underground. I forgot what the story with this tunnel was, but basically it connected one part of the castle to like the stables or something, I think. And there was a whole not a steam engine room, but a coal room down here somewhere where it's used for the heating of the place. Because you gotta keep in mind, this place was made around the 1920s, I believe. Around the 1920s. And it was super expensive. Apparently the house prices in Toronto at the time on the upper end was around $2,500. Now, that may not seem a whole lot. $2,500 may not seem a whole lot, but if you think about inflation, let's just add a couple of zeros to that, and then you suddenly have 250,000, possibly, maybe a little extra for most houses. And this particular castle cost 250,000 on the day when it was first made, and it never got completed apparently. And eventually, before construction stopped on it because wars happened and whatnot, the price of this entire castle rose to about 1 million Canadian dollars. I don't know how much that is in these days, but let's say we add 2 more zeros to that. It probably costs about $100 million in today's money, which is kind of sort of ridiculous if you think about it. And the place was, I mean, Did it feel like $100 million? Possibly. I don't know what $100 million house is, but this is probably the closest we can get to it. And it's basically a castle with a couple of towers, a very nice garden, a place where a stable for horses, which I think it could house 4 or 5 horses, if I remember correctly. Another, and a garage where there was a bunch of cars, old cars. And well, there was an attic portion that also I visited in this place that had wax figures of celebrities and movies that made a film in Casa Loma, which apparently is a good spot to do a film thing, as well as a good spot to get married, because there was a couple that was going to get married on that day that that I visited. And yeah, a good spot to get married apparently. And let's see what else. But I think what I liked the most about this entire castle were these tunnels in the underground passage. It's just really one tunnel with a few paths that go up into the building itself. But I don't know. It's I guess it would be spooky. It would be spookier if there were no lights down here, right? No lights. No lights, damp. It was kind of damp and cool somehow. But I don't know. It's an interesting place to visit, I feel like. And no one lives there these days. The person who built the castle, or at least commissioned the castle to be built, the mansion to be built, no longer lives. I think they passed away 60 years ago or something like that. I don't remember anymore. And they eventually lost the rights to the castle anyway. This is owned now by the city of Toronto, I think. Because the person who made this castle went into debt, could not pay all of it, and eventually lost their place. So yeah, I guess that's what happens. They didn't know what to do with the castle. Toronto, city of Toronto didn't know what to do with the castle, so eventually it turned into like a museum slash attraction for tourists to go through, and I think it worked out fairly well. It's a pretty nice place, all things considered. Would I want to live in a place like this? Heck no. It's way too big. Way too big. I don't know why people want to have a huge place like this. I guess to entertain guests and whatnot. But I don't know. It's a little bit too big for me personally. So would not ever want to live in a castle if I could help it. But it is a neat place to visit regardless. So yeah. Let's see. And shortly afterwards, we tried to look for a Filipino restaurant and kind of did not get a good location. I'll be perfectly honest. But we did get some. It's how do I explain it? How do I explain this place without seemingly putting down the location? Let me see. Let me advertise really quick the place here, if I can find the picture. I thought I put the picture. That's not it. That's not it. Where art thou? Filipino, not really a restaurant. It's not even a restaurant, to be honest. It's we're gonna have to turn you a little bit. It's more like it says it's a Filipino cuisine takeout and catering area with a little mini grocery store, which is kind of typical for a lot of small Filipino shops, to be honest. But they did have a canteen style eatery inside where you can probably fit like up to 4 people to eat. Now, that might seem absolutely tiny, and it kind of was. Imagine sitting on plastic chairs and small little plastic tables in a very small shop. That's basically what it was. But we got a couple of pork barbecue, heavily sauced, some steamed rice, halo halo, which in hindsight was a bad idea because the commute back home to the hotel afterwards took like over an hour, and we were kind of full after the meal, so did not get to eat the halo halo in its full glory. Instead, it melted, ice cream and ice, and then turned into a puddle, and it was kind of sad. But I ate what I could from the halo halo afterwards. Was not the best thing ever, and I probably would say definitely not the best halo halo I've ever had. It barely got a pass on the ingredients used alone. Probably would have been slightly better if we actually ate it in the shop. But family got a little bit too excited and ordered pretty much everything. We always have this problem in restaurants. Right? I'm not sure if anyone else has this problem of ordering too much or ordering too much too soon. Like, you order your desserts with everything else. Don't do that. Especially if it has ice in it. You order that after. After, and if you feel like it. Don't order it during. But it's like, who am I? I mean, I could have been the voice of reason, but I didn't think about it at the time. It was kind of near the end of the day. Really tired from walking all over Casaloma. And my shins hurt like crazy. So, didn't have the energy in me to basically be the voice of reason. So accepted it. Accepted the fate of the halo halo being melted into ice. Sadness. Utter sadness. But yeah. Other than that, this is supposedly sisig. It's not the best sisig I've had. It was more on the soft side rather than crispy. Because usually for pork sisig, you want the pork to be very, very crispy on a very sizzling hot plate. This is like canteen style. It was in a, oh, what do you call that? Like one of those containers that you would see in a buffet and stuff. And I mean, for all things considered, it had a very good flavor. It kept well, despite it being the end of the day. So props to that. Flavor was pretty decent. Not the best for sure. It was a little fatty, which is expected because you have pork skin on here. Color looks good. Flavor was pretty good. The peppers, spicy. I bit into one and regretted it immediately. But it went well with the rice, so it gets a pass. Fried bangus. This is the milkfish. As you can probably tell, it's been sitting in the fried milkfish has been sitting out for a while. So not the crispiest, but still actually held fairly well in terms of flavor and doneness. So not terrible except for the, oh crap. I guess I have to add pictures again. Really? Why do you not like showing all the pictures I have to offer? All right, let's add more pictures then. Let's add more pictures then, starting from here. From the rice. Let's go from the rice. Okay, so the bungus, the fried milkfish, held out pretty well. The only bad thing I could probably say about this is they didn't give us enough vinegar. Like, they had this like little tub of vinegar, which normally would be only good for maybe a quarter of the fish. A lot of me personally, I like to use a lot of vinegar on my fried Filipino dishes, and that is not enough. That was not enough. I like dousing it. I like to make sure that the fish is soaked through and through. The vinegar at least was spiced, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But everything else, definitely could have done better. Definitely could have done better. But this is basically what it was. It's a little small, I guess convenience store is the best way to describe it. They sell some food, like they sell the canteen style food. They have some snacks on the side. And overall, if you have no options, it's okay. Could have probably done better. Didn't realize what I was getting into. Apparently the address the name I was given before getting to this place was not for this particular place itself, but it was for the massage parlor. The massage parlor right next door. And that was kind of awkward. I thought it was the name of this place, and I probably should have looked at the reviews, but okay. Did not. The reviews looked good, but it was the reviews for the massage parlor and not necessarily for this place where you can eat. So I was actually surprised to find out there were people coming in and out for like a little bit of small meals, and we just happened to be there eating some basically our dinner. Basically our dinner. And so when we had to get out, we had to go through the subway system as well as the train system of Toronto, which was an adventure in itself. I will say, though, I definitely much prefer the trains in Japan. Now, you may look at this and say it doesn't look that different, but it kind of sort of feels different. The chairs, the configuration's a little bit different. Normally, also you would see some hanging loops in the middle of the train, so people standing can hold on to it. But then again, this is like a very limited line. It only goes from one end of a street to the other end of a street or something. So it didn't really I don't know. It's not like Japan or even Tokyo, where the train system is really integrated into the city, and this basically serves a very small portion of the city, is the best way I can describe it. It works, but only for that small portion. Also, I just poured myself some extra tea. And apparently it got a little bit too dark, and so it is super bitter now. Almost undrinkable, I'll be perfectly honest. But, that's kind of what happens when you don't take the leaves out in time. The buses felt like normal buses. Nothing too special about that, to be honest. Stairs, escalators, elevator, ascensors. I had to get used to these bilingual English and French signs everywhere. It's like French is everywhere. But apparently, just because just because the system has a bunch of French in the what do you call it? The system has a bunch of French in the signs. Not everyone knows how to speak French. It's just part of the Constitution, apparently. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that's about. But I will forever. The one thing, if there's anything I take away from the French signs, is and whenever anyone says sortie, like you hear sortie in a bunch of sci-fi anime and shows and like that stuff. Apparently that just means exit. So you see signs that says exit, and then on the bottom, sortie, which is French apparently for exit. So it's like you're sortying whenever you get out of a building. You're just exiting and sortying out, which is kind of funny if you think about it. So, okay, before we get to Niagara, let's go ahead and try our next snack. Oh, geez. Our next snack. Another sweet-induced, sugar-induced snack. This one, though, is dark chocolate ice wine. So they actually had several versions. Actually, no, only two versions. One was a milk chocolate, and this one's a dark chocolate. Chocolat ice wine noir from Canada. And this is just dark chocolate with the ice wine, I'm guessing, in the filling of this chocolate candy. Supposedly super fancy, but who knows? We'll see. That is what we're here to test out today. If I can figure out how to open this package without tearing it too badly. I'm sorry for my nasty cough as I go through the stream today. The sugar is not helping. It's actually making it worse. But let me see. All right. Plastic. Not plastic. Tape off. Little rubber stampy thingy off. And now how do I take the middle portion off? Wait. Am I not supposed to be able to? I guess I just open up the ends. Maybe we just open up the ends like this. Oh, I guess I just open up the ends. Well, that kind of makes sort of sense. The middle is just decoration. And we have a whole thing of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chocolate stuff. We're going to take one. We're going to take one chocolate ice wine. I'm going to put back the rest. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get through all of this, because this is a whole lot of sugar and I don't normally have this much sugar. But yes, here we go. Chocolate ice wine, dark chocolate ice wine. As you can tell, very nice round ball. I think you've seen sort of something like this before in like a Lind chocolate or something like that. Let's go and let's go and bite this through the middle and see what we get. Ah. Oh, it's soft. I wonder if it's soft because it's been out in the heat for a while. But again, you don't want to put this in the fridge, because that's going to make the chocolate bloom, and blooming is bad for chocolate. So, screwed if I don't, screwed if I do. But it's soft, it is very milky. Ice wine, I can kind of sort of taste. I mean, chocolate's getting everywhere on my fingers, because it's that melted. It's not like it doesn't it really melts in your fingers. But let me get some tea in me really quick. But if you can kind of see the middle of this chocolate, it's very creamy, very chocolatey, because it is chocolate. The ice wine flavor, it's kind of like the tea. It's light. It's a little grapey, but not too strong. And if you just ate through this thing without really savoring it, you could not whatsoever you could not whatsoever taste the ice wine at all. But it's kind of sort of there. It's not like I don't know. A lot of people when they eat stuff, they just kind of inhale, don't really pay attention to the flavors of what they're eating. Here, you kind of have to pay attention a little bit. If you just bite through it like you would like most chocolates, it's just you're not gonna taste much of a difference because it's not strong. The flavor is not strong. It's light, but it is there. Now, is it worth the price tag? I'm not sure, to be honest, because I would have liked a stronger hint of the ice wine if possible. But ice wine being as expensive as it is, I don't know if that's totally possible. And it does have actual ice wine in here with $700 Canadian for a bottle of ice wine. I can see why they would skimp out a little bit to the point where you just need to taste a little bit, but it's not going to be strong. Because if they used more, this thing would probably cost twice as much. And that would probably be the premium chocolate ice wine, but I don't know. How much was this? It doesn't say. I'm gonna guess it's like $10 or something. At $10, so about $2 for each one of these. Probably a little expensive, but you get the idea just from tasting it. So it's not terrible, but I would have wished a little bit stronger flavor. That's all. That's all. That's really all. I'm gonna finish this though, and we'll continue. But yeah, Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls. Not the first time I went to Niagara Falls, but I will say this is probably the first time I've seen the mist from Niagara Falls. Now. Apparently this mist is pretty darn high. You can't really tell from this distance because I think we were maybe 300, 400 meters away from it. So it's not really noticeable but once you get a little bit closer, you can see how tall this mist from the falls is. But clarification, this mist that you see is the mist that is created from Niagara Falls when the water goes over the edge. So there's a force from the water, and then there's plumes that shoot up from the force of the water, and that's what you see in this picture, the giant cloud of water, plumes. And you will get wet if you get close to this thing. You will get wet when you get close. And it's kind of fun if you don't mind getting wet. But if you don't like getting wet, probably not a great idea. Part of the tour though was you're actually able to go behind the falls. So that's what we kind of did, and I do have a picture. Not picture, a video. Can I show it? Oh. I have to lower that volume a bit. Oh. Yeah, so this is actually so there's a tunnel behind the waterfalls so that people could see what this is up close. Because if you go through the boat tour, you can get close to the falls, but you can never get close enough, because if you do, it'll probably capsize the boats from the sheer force of water. And also there's probably rocks at the bottom of those falls, so you can't exactly get too close to it anyway. But you can go behind the falls, and this will still drench you a little bit if you get a little too close. So you do have ponchos when you see this up close. And there's like two viewing windows for this one. This is like the less traveled of the two, and then there's another one further down where a lot of people go to, and The water is a bit fiercer in that end, and this one's not too bad. It's not too strong, but you can still get a sense of how strong the waterfalls is, which is pretty nice actually. So that's pretty neat. And you can actually go out to like a viewing deck that's attached to these falls, and you can get pretty close without actually getting underneath the falls. So yeah, that's pretty neat. And I think there's like a tunnel right next to this one too. All right. So Niagara Falls, not my first time going through Niagara Falls, but my first time through going behind the falls, and actually on the boat ride. Which, do I have a boat ride picture? Oh, I do. Let's look at the boat ride really quick. So probably not to anything special, because a lot of people have done boat rides through Niagara Falls, but I think me and my camera gear, this was as close as we can get to it. Of course, you would have to go through a boat tour to do this, and I think you get like maybe 5 minutes or so getting as close to the falls as possible. Because if you get too close, then it could actually be bad for you. And everyone else on board. But it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. You do get drenched when you do this, so it's kind of it was a little bit hazardous for me and my camera. I had to like protect it and stuff. And that wind that you see is just the force of the wind from the water. And so I had to like hide my camera underneath my poncho quite a bit, so that I didn't get too drenched, because I didn't have any like a housing for the camera where it like is protected from all that stuff. So yeah, but that was a neat experience. I wish I could have enjoyed it without taking any photos and stuff, but I kind of wanted to do it because, you know, that's what I do. Cameras and videos and stuff like that. But imagine actually being on the waterfall. You really actually can't do that. I think there were some people who tried to do kayaking in the waterfalls before, and that actually would get you fined very big money, like $10,000 or something. So, and that's I don't think anyone would want to do that. Just saying. It's very expensive to get fined for wanting to take a thrill ride over over Niagara Falls. That's not something you want to deal with, that's for sure. So yeah, after the falls, we had some lunch. Just went to this sports bar, got some I guess Thai fried chicken. Oh, I can only go through 11 pictures before it loops again. Is that so? Is that so? In that case, let's add some more pictures. Let's add some more pictures, but we got a few more to go. And I can't count to 11, so fried chicken and pizza. So the pizza is what replaced my Tim Hortons lunch at Niagara Falls. There was a Tim Hortons at Niagara Falls, up on top of a hill, but could not get to it because, holy crap, there was a huge line. And again, family didn't want sandwiches for lunch, so we got pizza instead. And this is a pierogi pizza. Pierogi pizza is a spicy pizza with potato slices, potato chips, because you can kind of see some potato slices on top of the pizza, as well as some, I guess that's a sour cream, some cheddar cheese, green onions, and you don't really see it, but apparently there's a cactus sauce somewhere around here. I don't know where the cactus sauce is. Oh yeah, and bacon bits. Bacon or sausage bits. I can't exactly tell at this point. But it was a pretty good pizza overall. We couldn't finish it, so we had to like pack up the food, and actually gave the rest of the pizza away to like some. I don't know if they're homeless, but we gave it to a guy peddling for cash, but basically beggars. So, oh well, we'll just chalk it up as a good deed for the day because we couldn't finish the pizza. But yeah, it was overall it was a pretty decent. I think I like this one. I like this one. Oh yeah, so this is like a little bit far away from the actual Niagara Falls, but this was something else I wanted to show you guys. So this is, I think, a whirlpool, and you can go back and forth here. This is not the US side. This is actually both Canadian sides. That there's this cable car that goes back and forth. This is both Canadian side, and there's a whirlpool here, meaning Canada gets the best of the Niagara River. But basically, that's kind of what it looks like. It's a 6-cable car. Supposedly gets really scary in the middle on a windy day, but wasn't very windy. But the most impressive bit for me was that whirlpool, that big white whirlpool down there at the bottom. We only have a very short clip here because this is what I have. And I'll be uploading some videos into the other channel whenever I finally get the time to process all this stuff. Didn't go through the cable car thing because we didn't have time to do that. But the water, though, the water was quite impressive to look at. And I could probably just stare at that thing for hours. It's just seeing the water and stuff. Oh yeah, ice cream. There was this apparently it's a farmer's market on the way near the end of the Niagara tour. There's this farmer's market near the Niagara town, and they sell a bunch of produce, like locally grown produce and ice cream, and it was pretty good. This is like the richest ice cream I've ever had. It's like very thick, very rich ice cream. These strawberries, not the best strawberries I've ever had, but pretty darn good strawberries. More on the sweet end than they are on the tart end. And kind of expensive, not gonna lie, but I've been wanting to try the local produce, and this was pretty good. This was pretty good. Oh yeah, there was also a dessert shop, I guess, that in the town that we went to, Niagara Town. I don't know if that's actually what it's called. Niagara over the Falls. I think that's what the town is called. I'm not exactly sure. But we got tiramisu and this, I think, blueberry cobbler thing. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. Very, very crumbly, and I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. Chinatown. All right, before we head to Chinatown, let's go ahead and try our next snack. Oh. Let's try our next snack and last sweet snack. Holy crap. Thank you. Last sweet snack. Because we don't need more sweet stuff, though. Let me tell you this. This is kind of what, I think it has the same maple syrup as the popcorn earlier. And we got cookies. Canadian maple cream cookies. Maple cream cookies, 18 cookies, made with pure maple syrup. So there's 18 cookies in here. Seems kind of big. Again, I'm not expecting anything too crazy here. This is probably just going to be like sweet stuff. Kind of big, actually, now that I think about it. It should be, hopefully go well with the tea. The tea has been getting cold now. The tea has been cold. But look at this cookie, man. Look at this cookie. Oh, this way, this way. Very nice details, kind of veiny. Kind of veiny maple. Oh, wow. I can smell that maple. I can smell that maple scent in the cookie itself. It's pretty strong, actually. This is the maple scent in this cookie is much stronger than anything that we've had so far. Now, I didn't I didn't get an actual maple syrup. Like, you know, when you go to Canada or a place where maple syrup is the thing, like the thing to get. They sell like bottles of maple syrup in various sizes. I didn't get that because I wouldn't know what to do with it. Because with a maple syrup, you see these maple candies? I could use this instead for whatever maple sugar application I want to do. So I could melt the maple candies in like some water and get my maple syrup that way. That works perfectly fine too. And I don't know if it's cheaper though. That's the only other thing. Oh well, probably not. Probably not. But anyway, maple cream cookies. I can smell the maple syrup from here. I'm not even trying to smell it at this point. If you look at the middle, it just looks like a normal cream cookie. The cookie itself doesn't taste like it has any maple in there, but it's a very nice butter cookie. Gotta give props for that. The maple though, the maple is probably in this cream right here. Let's give it a shot. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That is sweet. The maple cream is sweet. And that maple flavor really hits you hard. Like if you want to get a maple fix without actually drowning yourself in maple syrup, this is probably the way to go. And my recommended, my one recommended souvenir to get if you're in Canada is the maple cream cookies. Everything else is kind of meh. I'll be honest, everything else is meh. This is pretty good. And this is the closest thing you will get. This is the closest you'll get to maple syrup without actually drowning yourself in maple syrup. And it's pretty darn strong. Holy crap, that's strong. You need tea with that. You need that ice wine tea that we've been sipping on this entire stream. Right there. Holy crap, that is sweet though. Very sweet. Gonna have to nibble that slowly, otherwise I am gonna drown in so much sweetness, like ridiculous amount of sweetness. Pretty good though, pretty good. Oh, not that one. We're done with this. We are done with the Niagara bit. But yeah, next day we went to like a Chinatown, and I just took random pictures everywhere in Chinatown. I'll be honest, the Chinatown in Toronto, not what I expected. Like normally if you go to a Chinatown, or at least the Chinatowns I've been to, it's obviously a Chinatown because everything looks kind of grungy, no, or very red or very stereotypical Chinese, like in design. But Toronto Chinatown, while it does have a lot of Asian and Chinese shops, and we may have barely scratched the surface when we visited there at the time, it didn't feel like a Chinatown, to be honest, because the Chinatown that I saw, the Chinatown I saw in Toronto was like just this one giant street on Spadina, I think is what it was. And Spadina is kind of split in half by a tram system that goes up and down the street. And I think Chinatown is like mostly on the upper end of Spadina Street Avenue, whatever you want to call it. I don't remember exactly what it is. And to the left and to the right of the street, there's some smaller streets, but they don't go too far. And there might be more of Chinatown that way, but it's like we didn't get a chance to explore really at the time, because what we did before that was like a boat tour of Toronto Islands. Like Toronto is like bordered by Lake Ontario, right? And part of Lake Ontario, there's not really a man-made island, but there's a portion that's man-made, but there's also like a peninsula. I think there's a peninsula that formed into like islands after years of flooding over the times and whatnot. And we took a boat tour there that took about an hour on the boat tour. And so we were trying to go to Chinatown next. So when we got to Chinatown, we were trying to look for food for lunch and stuff. And so we like went into random shops, the herbal shops with the ridiculously expensive stuff that I don't know what this stuff even is, but it's like ridiculously sus and expensive. And so we finally settled in on a dim sum restaurant. Got some seafood congee. I'm not sure what this is, but I think it's like pork and green onions. I think this is another fried pork thing. This is the same pork and green onions thing from earlier. And now I have to refresh the pictures because this thing does not want to show it everything. Why do you not want to show all the pictures? Huh? Huh? Why? Doshita why? Doshita why? Doshita why? Chicken and corn soup. In hindsight, we probably got way too much. Again, another issue we have in my family is that we order too much. Order too much for a single meal. Keep in mind, you can like take home the leftovers and stuff, but we were still gonna be walking around for the rest of the day. We didn't really want to do that, so we had a few leftovers, sadly. Like there was a few leftovers of this. I think we had like half of this left and half of the sweet and sour pork, and we had way too much other food. Now keep in mind the rest of the people I was with couldn't eat that much, or at least have a very small stomach, so I ate quite a bit, but my stomach can only hold so much. And breakfast was like maybe 3 or 4 hours prior to this. So well, that doesn't sound too long for some people. Digestion is a thing, and I don't know, water. Been drinking water throughout the day, so a little bloating from the water did not really help much with being able to eat too much food. But overall, I think this place that we went to was kind of bland. I'm gonna be honest about that. Like, I don't know how good or flavorful dim sum can be in other places, but this place in particular was kind of bland. Not gonna lie, needed a lot of chili oil, needed a lot of pepper, needed a lot of this soy sauce to be any good. And that was kind of a bit of a shame, because I like dim sum, but this place, I don't know, just didn't quite deliver. But what are you gonna do? We had to pick one. We had to pick one, and really didn't have much energy to keep searching. But next to the Chinatown, though, is this place called Kensington Market. It has got a bunch of boutiques, local boutiques, and hipster cafes, basically. Sold a bunch of clothes, sold a bunch of food and whatnot. I think people live in these houses too. I can't exactly tell, but it's kind of a neat place to just roam around it, even if you're not gonna buy anything. I don't know how much the prices are around this area, but it's got a lot of neat shops to just even look through. Like the clothes shops, the cheese shops, seafood shops. There's a couple of seafood shops, one butcher I know, and the and this one place had some really interesting wall wall art, whatever you want to call it. Except you couldn't see it because the slideshow decided doesn't want to show it. 45.93. Okay, so we'll remove everything before then. Okay, so yeah, this one place had pretty interesting wall art. If you know where this is in Kensington Market, please let me know. It's I'm not sure if it's a shop or this is just a wall, but it had some interesting stuff going on around there. And St. Lawrence Market, I think this was one of my favorite places to visit in Toronto itself. And I don't have my pictures sorted for that place because a lot of that uh a lot of the pictures from St. Lawrence Market is in the form of video, and I haven't been able to go through the video yet. Keep in mind, I probably shot about 5 hours or so worth of video throughout the trip, and it was only a 5-day trip. Imagine if this was Japan. If this was Japan, I would have so much more footage to go through and so much more footage recorded. But this is Canada, 4 or 5 days, and about 4 to 5 hours of footage. That's quite a bit already. But let me show you what I do have from the small clippings of St. Lawrence Market. Apparently, St. Lawrence Market is the oldest market space in Canada, maybe, if not Toronto. But they have a bunch of different stuff there, seafoods, meats, you name it. I think for the most part, it seems fairly stable, but the amount of selection they have in one area is pretty impressive, not gonna lie. A lot of Italian ingredients, dry aged meat, also seafood, and then some specialty meats. One place in particular had a lot of game meats like rabbit, bison, buffalo, bison, venison, ostrich even, crocodile tail, and kangaroo. I'm not sure what kangaroo was doing all the way in Canada, but that was apparently available. Excuse me. As well as morel mushrooms, which apparently is super expensive. I've never had morel mushrooms before, and you can probably see why. But let's see. I think it's basically 2 floors, one lower floor and one upper floor. The upper floor is where most of the meats and veggies are. And then there's a lower floor where most of the Italian what do you call this? The Italian imports are. But yeah, the upper floor also has a couple of seafood restaurants where you can, well, not seafood restaurants. It has one seafood restaurant and a couple of seafood stalls where you can get the ingredients from. And I think they can cook it at this stall. I know there's one oyster bar next to the seafood restaurant on the main floor. Didn't really get a chance to try that because they only accepted cash in the area. And by the time of this trip, we were kind of running low on actual physical cash. And we really didn't need to go to an ATM because the next day we were going to be leaving anyway. So it would have been probably not worth it to get the extra cash to try the the oyster bar and other seafoods they had in that place. But yeah, that was probably my favorite place in Toronto. And here on the Toronto boat tour, Toronto Islands boat tour, you can get a glimpse of downtown Toronto with its famous landmark in the middle, CN Tower. It does not stand for Cartoon Network Tower like I thought it originally did. It actually stands for Canada Nationale. I think that's like the railway company that owns the tower, and I think the tower is supposed to be a radio tower. And then they added a portion where tourists can go up the tower so they can see the city, and they have a glass bottom floor like most towers do, so you can see what's at the bottom of the tower and whatnot. Didn't get a chance to go up there because one, it's kind of expensive, and two, I don't really like heights. I don't like heights. I will admit that, but maybe one of these days I'll get over it and we can give that a shot. But yeah, that's the quick and dirty of the Canada trip that I went to. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It was just Toronto. Didn't really have enough time to go around doing much, but I did enjoy what I saw. So not too bad. Not too bad overall. Not too bad. All right, we're gonna try one more snack before we close out for today. And let's see. The last snack. The last snack we have today is going to be Canada's famous, maybe infamous, ketchup chips. Lay's ketchup flavored chips. Made in Canada specifically because I think only Canada has these flavor of chips. No one else does this. Now, if you ask me, is this totally necessary? I guess if you want to get ketchup on your chips, this is one way to do it. Me personally, though, I would just get some normal chips, get some ketchup on the side, spice the ketchup up a little bit, and then dip it in there. That's my ketchup chips. But this is a Canada flavor. I don't know why this is a particularly Canada flavor. Like, why? I don't understand it. I honestly don't understand it. But oh wow. I just opened this bag. And it smells exceptionally ketchup in there. A little, mostly ketchup with a hint of vinegar. As you can see, this is it's dusted quite well. That's not bad. That's actually not bad. However, I think I would still prefer dipping this in actual ketchup rather than having ketchup powder on these chips themselves. Like, I think it works. This kind of reminds me, though, of a sweet salt and vinegar chips kind of thing. That's what this reminds me. But hey, Canada, this is not a bad flavor. But what's wrong with salt and vinegar? What's wrong with salt and vinegar, eh? I think this is fine though. I think this is okay. I think this is fine. It's a flavor that I can get used to, but some people might think of it as weird. I can see why they don't sell this in the US though. It's other than the US people being very, what do you call this? Very picky about what they eat. Not very adventurous people for flavors, at least the older folks. But this is not bad. This is not bad. Will I get it again? Maybe on a whim. Maybe on a whim. But I think that covers our Canadian snack tour as well as the trip. Overall, I enjoyed my time in Canada. I wish I had a little bit more time to visit the places. Some of the places I went to, I think Casa Loma was visited quite well enough. I wish I had a little bit more time to explore the Toronto Islands. I wish I had a little bit more time to explore Chinatown and Kensington. I would have loved to try visiting some of the cafes in Kensington especially, and see what what else I miss in Chinatown. Let's see what else. Niagara Falls. I wish I could have rented a car and just take my time in Niagara Falls and check out the other places that we weren't able to visit. That would have been nice to do. What else? There were a few other things that would have been nice to visit, like the Royal Ontario Museum, as well as the aquarium, possibly the CN Tower. I'm not gonna say no to the CN Tower, but it's not something on the top of my list. Just gonna say. Other than that, though, I think if I were to visit Canada again, it probably wouldn't be Toronto unless I'm visiting friends in Toronto. We'll probably go to Montreal next, as well as Vancouver. Vancouver apparently has really nice scenery and hiking spots, so that's definitely someplace I want to go. Montreal also has a very nice scenery from what I understand. So yeah. But anyway, thank you all for joining me on this Zatsudan regarding the trip to Canada. Hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to comment on my trip and ask me anything, please drop me a question in the comments after the stream is over or during the stream before we close out for today. Tomorrow I will be on another channel doing a quiz show, so I'll tweet an announcement about that and even put it into the Discord. I don't have anything else planned for this weekend. I'm still recovering from the trip. Like, I don't know how people are after a trip, but it's like, I really didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to do anything yesterday, but I had to like take care of post-trip chores like laundry and stuff like that. And today, I really did not want to do anything. I was even kind of hesitant to do the stream, to be honest, just because, you know, I just wanted to relax, not do anything, clear out my mind, and, you know, just focus on memories during the trip and whatnot. But I figured I probably should get this Zatsudan out of the way, talk about the trip so you guys know what I was up to before we get back to any regular programming, because it would just feel weird not to do that, right? It would just feel weird not to do that before we get back to our regular programming. So yeah. But tomorrow I won't be streaming on this channel. I'll be on a friend's channel, which I'll send information about that later. And I don't know if I'll do anything on Sunday. I may not, depends on how I feel like. But I'll definitely I'll try to get a schedule up by this weekend for next week, because next week is going to be quite busy, especially during the weekend. I'm going to be participating, or at least I'm planning to participate in a fundraiser for hospitals and stuff. So yeah, so please keep an eye on that schedule this weekend. And I'll thank you all for coming. Thank you guys for watching. For any VOD watchers, thank you for listening for the past 2 hours. Please, if you haven't subscribed yet and got to this part of the video, thank you for watching or listening to me throughout this throughout this video. Please consider subscribing if you want to talk to me more about travel stuff. I do like traveling quite a bit. I haven't been able to do that for the past 2 years plus since the since the state of the world has changed to something quite uncertain, to be honest. And hopefully I get to travel again soon. Next time I travel, I hope it will be Japan, because I have Japan travel withdrawal syndrome and would like to visit Japan again as quickly as possible. So Japan does have is kind of sort of open right now, but it's only open to tour groups. I would kind of hope they would open to like non-tour groups soon. Hopefully before the end of the year. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, again, thank you all for coming. See you later, and have a nice rest of your day, everyone. Goodbye. And ending.